Oh, what's good, guys? It's No Name. Honestly, just coming here with a quickie just to like quickly hit on some stuff that I really liked about Diablo 4 and really didn't like. Yesterday, game came out, first night with it, or at least, game came out for early access. Kind of cringe, but whatever. Uh, First night with it, my impressions are very, very strong so far. I've had an absolute blast. Spent about like 7, 8 hours last night. So far, level 32 with some decent gear. This is actually something I found at the end of a recent boss that I killed, like pretty much like right after. Was it right after stream or was it like at the end of the stream? Either way, like I killed this like late, like right after I got off, right as I was getting off. Like getting some nice gear, really, fleshing out the abilities. My next level up is quite literally my like key passive. So we're like really fleshing out there. You can see here, I've got quite some XP on me. And so I kind of want to just talk a little bit about some of the stuff I've really been enjoying, and then I have like two or a couple of like minor gripes that maybe will get better with time, but definitely things that I just want to like put out there now. All right, so one, this combat system feels incredible. Hang on, let me just go somewhere so I can show you what I mean. Because the combat is not like quite the level of Lost Ark, and it's mostly just because of the lack of like the visual feedback. Like if you've ever played Lost Ark, you know exactly what I mean with like how pretty the game is and how everything feeds back. But the overall like bossing movement and whatnot, the act of being able to kite, the overall responsiveness of the movements, the addition of this little short dash for everybody has been a game changer. Oh, look at this, perfect. You guys get to see my build in action a little bit. Talk about my build a little bit. Chain Lightning Sork, which, from my understanding, is a pretty popular setup. I went ahead and I'm playing it. I think I'm playing a pretty close to standard version of it. Quite frankly, it's not like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to make this one function. Stack the good lightning skills. Run the enchant for Chain Lightning. To get more single target. Although early on, I was actually running the Fireball enchantment because it literally just gives me pops. Like the Fireball enchantment makes things explode on kill, and that was really good for early on clear power. Before I had some, more mana sustain and all of that stuff. Look at just very nice and simple, smooth gameplay. I teleport, all that good stuff. Yeah, so like the combat here is really like the sell for me. The combat is there. What I wanted makes me very happy that actually like, good combat. That was one of my bigger things that I remember from the beta, and seeing it at a higher level as I started pushing forward. And then boss. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn off that alarm, and I'm not retaking this. This was already too good of a take. So, aside of that, some other cool things that I like, you know, I like that the world scaling system has turned out to be pretty good. In fact, so far, this is the only time that I've hit an under leveled point. Like my next campaign quests are 35, and I'm only 32. And it is because I kind of beelined through most of through like the back act, the majority of Act 3. Didn't actually do too much side questing in Act 3 because of how far spread out everything ended up being. And so now I'm gonna have to get stuck spending some time going backwards if I want to like catch up, because these guys are all 35. Which, like, for generic world shit is not the worst thing in the world, but I don't really want to deal with all 35 enemies when I'm trying to like quest and kill bosses. All right. Um. Yeah, I think I like the way that the game like works. It set out a pretty nice like overall game plan. I think the game plan was really easy to from the jump to get into. Run campaign, do side quests as you run campaign to keep yourself geared, get yourself levels, make yourself stronger. The big thing is it's like right at the end of stream, or either right at the end of stream or right after I got all, I like ended the stream last night. I finally got around to getting my mount, which is like a big game changer for my willingness to do world content. I think you can imagine why. Going from base walking speeds to mounted speeds with boosts and whatnot is a very large difference for traveling to less than favorable areas.
I'm not ready yet.
Here, I'm just gotta be on it.
Thank you, stranger.
Yeah. So that's like the beauty of the system is you get to play. You get this really open ended in how you approach it, whether it be all campaign, all questing first. Like I'm pretty sure there are people that I've probably even friends with that just are hard focusing on the horizontal first,
I cannot
and I don't blame them. The world's beautiful. Do it. Explore. Shit is great. I've really been enjoying the settings between the music, theming, the general atmosphere, and how like this game again just feels so much more real. There were several cutscenes that were shown last night where I was like, "Holy shit, Diablo's really back to its roots, really on that grim shit, on that gruel, very, on that very like gory content. Grotesque is the word for it. Honestly, it's beautiful. I love it. So I'm very excited that that's been a part of the experience as well. I think I have one more like major thing that I wanted to kind of shout out, which is actually the use of the open world. I had my doubts on how I'd feel about it beyond just the beta is kind of cool or whatever, but I've actually really enjoyed the world system so far. Between just giving me more ways to get levels because of just quests in the sudden events and whatnot in the overworld, but also ARPGs historically have felt like a RPGs historically feel like a kind of a like a genre where you're on an island at all times, and I mean, like, even if you think about, like, so first you can think about like D3, and I imagine this probably is in D2, where it was most efficient to play in a party, right? But the game doesn't really naturally insert people, right? And so the natural insertion of people feels nice. You're not in competition with these people for things. You can show, and it feels very good that you're not in competition with them. The insert feels wonderful. You just get to see people. I think it probably has a little bit to do with some of the rendering and processing lag that I was experiencing yesterday. Because like gameplay normally is like fairly gameplay, and a lot of times it's smooth, and then like moments of heavy load, especially when I needed to cache, became very problematic with the overworld. But I think just overall the impact that it has on the experience has been very nice. Like literally just seeing people's it's something that you just don't get in RPGs. In fact, in ARPGs, you usually rush to get out of the part where people can. Like, for example, PoE has like the towns where you see people, right? But no one stays in the town. You wanna know where we all go? The hideout, right? Like it's everything is in isolation. I like making D4 an experience where you actually see people. Okay, so let's talk about a couple things that now let's talk about a couple things that I'm a little concerned about. One is the like processing of the game. I don't particularly like that it just feels like there were some optimization errors, which is going to now compound with 1.5 about the fact that the pre-release, like the client for the game, was completely unopenable until launch, which really bothers me because they could have just turned off the servers and let people in to get their game settings right. Like I had to spend forever at the start of stream being deafened, while also like I didn't have the opportunity before stream yesterday to realize that the game's quality settings might be a bit higher than my compute than streaming would enjoy. Literally just because inability to test these settings. So small ding there, but overall that's fine. Number two is that I have come around a good bit on this overworld map issue, but I'm gonna compound it into a bigger thing with 2.5. So Not having an overworld map of any sort is kind of frustrating. I don't love being brought out of the game basically to look at the whole map at once. But the waypoint, the like pin system that then like auto pass you on the mini map to it is pretty fine. Like I'm okay with this. It's a good enough substitute. What I'm not okay with is the quest system. It's really difficult to keep track of all my side quests. You can only ever have one quest like majorly tried, right? Like I can't pick like three of these to then show here. Only ever show one. And I really hate that, except if I'm actively in the middle of a main quest while focusing on a side quest. That's all that's the only way I can get to show there. And I think that's stupid. Because especially the way that they position things around the map and whatnot, sometimes I need to be able to pull more than one into the focus. Just for like planning purposes. And then related to there was like another big thing, which was just that the overall UI for this information is very extra, for lack of a better word. It's just not concise at all, or like it's very concise and grouped up together, but it's not very like approachable display of information. I would have liked to see a little bit more work done here. That's like a very minor thing though. Um, that's honestly all I really have to complain about so far. Like I don't have a lot that I've been like, oh my god, this game is just trash. It was just like a couple of things that really picked at me while I've been playing, and I figured I'd include them as well. But overall, I'm having a fucking blast with the experience. Whole lot of story. Oh right, no, I did have one more. This thing, tabbing out of the menu reminded me the amount that I'm on. I didn't get the amount till like a little bit at the stream, or like at the end of the stream, and that was 7.5 hours in, 7.5 hours in. Granted, we were going kind of slow through this because we were doing side questing and whatnot, but that still would have been like 5.5, 6 hours maybe. Because of relative like character power, should had we had not gone through all that. Um, I don't like mounts in games being put extremely late into the progression system. Story wise, I'll say it made sense. But functionality wise, it's just one of those moments where I don't think that should have been a thing. Um, it just why put a mount why put mounting features in the game and then bury it so far behind story questing. I had the same complaint with Chocobos in Final Fantasy 14, where I felt like it took way too long as a new player to get to your Chocobo. Um, I've never understood the infatuation with making players like use your slowest movement speed frequently. In big open world settings, like just give the movement speed. Game will be a better place for it. Maybe balance it a little differently. I don't know, but it's just the need to make me use the slow movement speed is just not fun. Take it out. Anyways, though, again, like I had to kind of reach and stretch some of the negative points because overall, my opinions on so far on the gameplay has been incredibly positive. Today on stream, we're gonna be doing today on stream. Link in the description to come check me out. I'll probably be live around 4 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, we're gonna go around 4 p.m. Central Time. I'll be live playing some more D4. Goals for today include finishing the campaign. Should Act 5 actually be the last act? I haven't looked it up. I don't plan to. Um, and then we're gonna start just like getting the area completion stuff taken care of. Altars of Lilith, renown points, getting more of the like yeah, renown point. So basically, altars and renown. I was gonna say side questing, but that's kind of included in doing renown. That's to got 100% the zone and everything. So we're gonna start focusing on that as we just continue pushing levels upwards. Because from here it's just pushing to 50 so that I can get ready to do the capstone and whatnot, figuring out how to gear better. So the hope is that we're in like pseudo endgame, if not real endgame, by the end of the night. Kind of the plan. Again, live on Twitch. Catch that link in the description. Come hang out. It's a good time. I'm share some experiences that you've been having in D4 as well. And yes, sir. Take care, y'all.